The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. For those who have joined me on the whole journey, this is the last in the series for you and another part of your assessment to tick off. So I hope you have got a celebration planned of some sort, because every time you reach a milestone, it is definitely worth celebrating. So make sure you've got something planned, and if you haven't before the call, don't think too much about it while we're doing the call, because I need you to focus with me and then plan something for afterwards and really celebrate well. Alrighty, so we've got lots of people saying hi, which is brilliant. I love all of that. So good evening to Amber and Nicole and Lyndall. Good to have you all on board. We've got a few others there who are joining us. So let me just get all the boxes opened up. Brilliant. Okay, so as you can see, we're doing the Business Mentorship series. Tonight is the question and answer night. It's time to do a wrap up of everything that we've been talking about over the last 5 sessions. Alrighty, so as usual, I'm going to do a little bit of homework with you to make sure that we're all on the right page and we get the best out of the call. So, a couple of gets for you, all right? Make sure you get your emails put on hold for the hour, okay? Because I would really encourage you to be engaging in the act of being present. You know about it, you've been teaching it, you've been taught it. To become completely present for what you're doing will give you the greatest opportunity to learn whatever it is you need to learn and take away from the session. And tonight it's a wrap up, so I'm looking for any questions that you've got, any clarity that you're after, any clarification, like I said, that is on any of the sessions that we've looked at, and then anything that gets stirred up. Let's just have a look at that as well. So make sure you get your emails off. Also, while you're at it, let's get your mobiles put onto silent or to turn it off if you're so brave. And let's really make sure that we get the most out of it. Also, any program that is connected to the internet, it's best if you put either disconnect it now or put it on hold, because it will interfere 9 times out of 10 with the audio that you experience. So to ensure you get the best out of the session, make sure that you have that turned off. And I'm just turning off my phone now. It started beeping at me. Alrighty, better practice what I preach. All right, my phone's off, so your phone's off, and all emails are put off. Okay, so we have a lot to get through. So let me ask you, we've got some stuff to get through, but what is the emotion that you've brought to the session tonight, and what is it that you're looking to experience as a result of us being on the call? All right, so what's going on? Somebody's on their iPhone. Good on you. I love the commitment that goes on here. Okay, it has started. If you can hear me, we have started. All right, I don't know why you can't hear anything, Demethu. But like I said, follow the instructions and directions I gave you about turning everything off, and that will give you the best chance for a great reception. Hi there, I hope I haven't missed the code, 601 on the call. Oh, you're good. No, you haven't missed the code. The code will come through at 10 past 6, and I'll give it to you then. Okay, so clearly I'm getting some responses back. I had to call in via phone, or just working out an audio problem with somebody, and they've had to come back in via the phone, and sometimes that's what you need to do. The slides are available on Facebook. Get up if you want to. Those who are on the phone, you can log on to Facebook, download the file that is this PDF, or you can all go and do it whenever you want to. It will interfere with the call if you start logging on using the same program that's got the phone this going. So the files are available as a PDF for you. Okay, so as always, you've got 3 ways to learn. You've got the PDF, so you don't need to take any notes of what you're seeing. What we discuss and what I'm chatting to you about is definitely worth recording, so make sure you write that down. And then also the questions that come up through the night. That's the real-time stuff and the stuff that's going to have a purpose and meaning for us, so definitely worth recording that as well. Alrighty, so lots of good things, lots of good places to play. So what is it that you want to experience, and what's the emotion that you brought to the session tonight? We've got curiosity and excitement. We've got an open to learning. What else? What else are you guys bringing to the call tonight? Because I want to make this the best for you and make sure that you've got all the information, because like I said, we're at the end of the assessment time. So this is a section that is complete. And also with all the webinars that I do, they are standalone as well. So if you have gaps within the series that you need to fill, the series will roll around again in a fortnight. So look out for it, jump on board, and then you'll be able to make sure that you get the completed assessments, okay? So it's all there for you. What else have you guys wanting to experience tonight? Okay, relief, good. Okay, that's a nice one. This is my first one. Lyndall, good to have you on board. So use this as everyone else is having it as a wrap-up. Use it as a way of looking at what's to come, all right? It'll all be good. Not sure if I've missed too many of the prior sessions to be asking questions. Here to learn. Helicopter summary, always good. I can fill gaps next series. Brilliant, Trish. Good reframe. Okay, this is my first. Loving your inclusive approach so far. Brilliant. Good to have you on board, Marcus and Trish. It's good to have you there. And like I said, this is use it as an overview tonight, and then that will really you'll be able to go deeper again when we come around and do the individual subjects. No matter what questions you've got relating to this series, make sure you bring them along. Okay, expanding comfort zone and reflection. Good on you, Angela. Is the business webinar series run by Angelina the same as your content or in a different series? Different series, Amber. Okay, so we're really here over at TCI want to make sure that you're getting the most out of building your business and really getting every angle covered. So Angelina brings a bit, I'll bring a bit. Everyone will contribute a different aspect, and the idea is that you have what you need to know what research you need to do, what areas you need to be investigating to build your business. You're learning the coaching skills. Now we want to give you the business skills to make sure that you get out there and really follow through and build the business that is going to be part of the dream and the lifestyle that you set for yourself. And it really makes a difference for you and for those who are significant in your life. All right, I'm in the car. I'm bringing relaxation. Nice. Not too much relaxation if you're driving. We still want you to be focused, all right? Okay, we want you back for the other webinars as well. This is my first on iPhone, all knowledge, happy to learn. Brilliant. Okay, keen to fill all the cracks and round out the series with review of what I've done. Nice. Okay, let's get into this because it is good stuff. I will give you let's do the code now. How are we going? All right, so the first code for tonight is TCI 1051. Okay, TCI 1051 is the first code for tonight. Record it, get it onto your notes, make sure that you have that available and put it into your assessments because it will make a difference. And there is another code that I'll give you at the conclusion of the webinar, so hang in there and you'll end up with 2 codes for tonight as always. All right, we've gone into 4-digit codes, so it's all good. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so as I've been saying, excuse me, what we're about tonight is to ensure that you get all your questions answered, that if there's business questions that you have, how to build your business, how to work with the clients, how to make sure that you've got the right focus and determination, because there's a lot going on. You've got to remember, as you know, you're learning a brand new skill. It's setting yourself for a career if that's the path you've chosen. And so there's a lot to learn if you've never run a business before. You've got your marketing plan to write. You've got your operational plan, your financial plan. You've certainly got to have your business plan because that encapsulates everything that you've got going on. You then have to be the salesman. You have to be the market coordinator. You have to drink a lot of coffee with prospects. You have to go and find the prospects. So you've got to make sure you've got a lead generation strategy that's set up. And then you've got to design your website. You've got to understand what niche you want to be working in. And within the niche, what is the website you want to be doing? What's the business cards you want to design? Who are your competitors? What are they selling? What are they doing? And then what is it that you can bring into the environment that's going to make a difference? And that's before you even start working with clients. Okay, so there's a lot going on all the time. Now, I am not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that to you because perfectionism, put it aside. All right? You do not need to be a perfectionist. You need to be an action taker. You need to be a mover, and you need to be somebody who does. Okay? So, Todd Sampson, he's on the ABC program, The Gruen Transfer, and he's also got another program about the brain that's going on. When he was on the Gruen Transfer, he said, well, he believes that success is not about talent, but about overcoming fear and having courage. And that's what I want to invite you into, and I am inviting you into right now, to step into courage. Okay, with all the emotions that you've brought tonight, and with what's going on, I encourage you to step into courage and take courage on. Okay, there is a place for being right. There's a place for being a perfectionist. There's a place for doing everything, and those places aren't around courage. Okay, because if you wait for the moon to align and the planets to settle up and all of that sort of stuff, it's never going to happen. So it's the courage of those who stand up and take that leap of faith. Have you seen the Indiana Jones movie where the Holy Grail won? Okay, and he's in pursuit of the Holy Grail, and he's gone through his little tests, and he's come out of the opening of the cave, and there's a great chasm that he's about to walk across, and it's the leap of faith. The priests have said, in the parchments and in the writings, it said that, you have to be brave, you have to step out and take that leap of faith. And he's standing at the precipice and he's looking down into the canyon. He can see the cave on the other side that he's got to walk into. However, there's no way across because there's nothing that he can actually do. And he closes his eyes and he knows that he has to just take that leap of faith and everything will be fine. And as he steps out onto the ledge that he can't see because the ledge is camouflaged to look like the cliff and the ravine below him. But it took the courage for him to step out onto that beam and then walk across. And then what he did, when he got to the other side, he got a handful of stones and threw it across the beam. So then everyone who followed him didn't need the faith. They just needed the belief that he was going the right way because they could see where to go. And that's where I'm inviting you tonight, to take the courage to take that first step into building your business, setting up the lifestyle that you want, looking for the returns you're after, having the opportunity to work with the people that you are keen to work with, and step into that. All right, so we're going to go through various aspects of building the business that we've spoken about, and encourage you to give me your feedback. Tell me what's working for you, what's not working, and what is it I can give you that will help clarify your situation. All right, so that's me over in Scotland. I'm the one on the left. No, the right. Or the left, on the right. Okay, so William Wallace was around town. That's in Edinburgh, going up into the old town just outside Edinburgh Castle. William Wallace was there, so, you can't walk past William Wallace and not get a photograph. All right, for me, that's what coaching's about. That's what it's about. Just getting out there, having the opportunity to have a very portable business, have a very portable clientele that you can work with no matter where you are. So I'm getting up at Sparrow's Fart or late in the evening and working with clients. And they don't know where I am until I come back and show them the photographs, and then that all makes a lot more sense. But this is what the coaching business offers me. This is why I chose it. And so I could have the lifestyle I want, to have the choices that I want, to do the things that I want when I want. Okay? And in between, there's a lot that you need to be doing. So Anna's saying, yes, indeed, courage is required. It definitely is. Let's keep going. Okay, so this is the first one that we looked at. All right, the 7 keys to developing your coaching. Oh, no, this is the overview of the series. Why don't I read my notes? All right, so session 1 was the 7 keys to developing your coaching business. Number 2 was the complete guide to finding your niche. Number 3 was calculating your hourly rate, and that's always a fun one. Number 4 was your 5 essential mindset strategies. And number 5, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay? So let's get into it. And all through this webinar tonight, as you've got your yeah, lovely photo, thank you. As your questions come up, ask them, and if we've moved on to another section and you've got a question from the previous section, just ask it, and ask any time. I won't be taking anyone off mute to have a conversation. However, I will be answering all your questions. The line just gets a little bit too staticky, and we don't need to invite the gremlins in, so we won't take anyone off mute, but I will read out your questions and go through the answers. Go through the answers with you. Don't know what that's about, but anyway, let's move on. So let's have a look at it. 7 keys to developing your coaching business: vision, values, mission, strategy, key performance indicators, because it's all about measuring. How are you going to measure it? Implementation plans, personal plans. I worked with a client last Friday, new client, 3 directors, and I was asked to come on board because I work as a business coach, for those who don't know, and I was asked to come in and spend the afternoon with the directors and to go through with them and design their business plan. They had a business plan that they had for last year and they needed to update it. I had a meeting with one of the directors, a couple of meetings leading up to it to set the agenda and what we wanted to do. And then we sat down and went through and started going through the agenda as to what they wanted. So before we did anything, and when you're writing your business plan and having an idea of, how you want the business to go and what you want it to do and all of those sorts of things, you need a vision. So I'm there with these guys, 2 guys and a lady, and I'm talking about vision. And I'm getting them to do a visualization exercise, and the guys are going, yeah, what's this about? All right, and they were a little bit reluctant, going, okay, not sure about this. We just want to write a business plan and really, make some money. So I'm going, okay, all right, just go with me on this, and then we'll do that, okay? And so we started doing a visualization exercise, and then because I wanted to get the big picture of where they wanted to be, so I got them to move forward to when they were, 75, and then look back and tell me everything they've achieved in the business and all the things that they were happy with. And so then we started to monetize all of that, and they all ended up needing a couple of $1 million to, get to 75, and then they wanted the passive income. So then they're going, oh, okay, well, these are the things I want to do, and this is the money that we need. So I'm going, okay, so what is it you need to do now, right now, today, to start moving you in that direction? And what they ended up doing was redesigning the whole business. It's a telecommunications business, and now they have a mergers and acquisitions department within the business, because the directors are going, oh, instead of us taking a dividend each year, we could take that money and start investing in properties and building up our portfolio and creating all sorts of passive income for ourselves. And so they were charged like you wouldn't believe. The agenda got thrown out the window pretty quickly, because these guys who were sitting on the fence and going, oh, what are we going to do? What do we want to do this for? And then at the end, we're just going, this is brilliant. This is awesome. Right, this is exactly what we needed. We didn't expect it. However, I'm going to go around and start referring you on and telling lots of people about how cool this is, because it transformed it. And then a vision an opportunity that they thought was too far away became very manageable and very doable that same day, because they just needed to start putting into effect a few minor steps to get them moving, because this is what it's about. When you're developing your business, you've got to have a vision. They've already got established values within the business. It's a husband and wife and a best friend. So the 3 of them work in the business. So they've been together for 16 years. So they've got their values all really well established. They know what they do, what they like to do, and they know what they want to experience on a regular and continuous basis within the business. They have their mission. And so we started working on a bit more of the vision, the mission, and setting up the strategy. The strategy is what they wanted to achieve. And then we looked at the measurables within the business. And so we set up got them to set up an application for industry awards, because then they can start measuring what's going on. Salespeople have KPIs that they work towards, but now we set up business KPIs by doing the industry awards. So it's setting up the implementation plans and then the personal plans for each one of them. All of that made a lot more sense in terms of the strategies they wanted, the plans that they needed to do once they had established the vision. And what these guys are doing is what each one of us does all the time. And we're coming up to the 30th of June, the midway mark in the year, and it's time to be looking at your next 90-day goals. You've already got your yearly goals and your 3-year goals, and if you haven't, these are the things you want to start playing with, and then that's supported with the 90-day goals that you look at each quarter. Okay, so that's the overview, and that's that whole process in action. And it's not a question of, oh, when I get bigger, it's what are you doing today? Because you only get bigger because you start with a vision that sets you in the right direction. Okay, you don't just wake up one morning and go, oh, great, now I'm successful. I used to say that with the business I had in Canberra years ago, that it took me 10 years to become an overnight success. Because I always said that I was a businessman. I work for myself, and I have worked for myself since I was 23. And I'm going, well, I'm a business person. And they go, well, you just work for yourself. I'm going, I'm not working for anyone else. I'm working for myself, so therefore I've got a business. I pay tax and do all of this. And it wasn't until I had about 7 staff and, things of substance, people going, oh, yeah, he's a businessman. But I'm going, I was a businessman before those people appeared. I didn't need staff to convince me that I was a businessman, but I needed staff to convince other people. But it wasn't my objective to convince other people, if you get what I mean. So it's how you're viewing yourself and what is it you're looking to achieve on a regular and continuous basis that makes a difference. So I can rave and rattle on for ages. The thing that will continue to make this a lot more pertinent and focused for you guys, what are your questions? What is it you need to know about vision, values, mission, strategy, key performance indicators, implementation plans, and personal plans? Okay, because ultimately people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Okay, because in business, the goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. So what we're getting at is why. You want to have an understanding of why you're in business. Excuse me. What is it you want to experience? What is it you want your clients to experience? Why are you in business? I've given you an indication of my why. These are the sort of questions that you want to be posing for yourself and really getting a little bit clear on. Okay, starting with why works in big business and in small business, in the non-profit world, in politics, all over the place. Okay, those who start with why never manipulate. It's about inspiration at that point. And the people who follow don't do so because they have to. They follow and purchase from you because they want to. It changes the whole proposition of selling and marketing. It turns it around from you having to sell something to having people purchase from you. Okay. So the question is, why do you do what you do? What is your purpose? What's your core belief? So are you clear on your purpose? Not what you do, it is about why you do it. Something for you to think about. All right. If you will start a coaching business now, what will you do? Can you explain that a little bit further for me, Cornelia? If you will start a coaching business now, what will you do? Yeah, can you explain that a little bit more for me? If you have any values, if you have many values, do you create mission, strategy, etc. for each? No, the values are there as a supporting mechanism for the vision and the mission. The vision comes first. You can then have the vision statement is where you're going. The mission statement is how you're getting there. And the values are what you want to experience while you're doing and moving in the mission and the vision. I hope that explains it for you. Did you notice the shift, Peter, from feeling like you were selling to when people start purchasing? Oh, yeah, because it's the clarity that you bring. I've rebranded 4 times within the coaching business because I have more clarity and more understanding of what I do and with whom I like to work. And what that meant is that I connected more with my niche and I connected more with my avatar. And so therefore people, when I meet them now, who are my avatar, they're jumping on board. I'm doing the presentation, chatting to them about, the coaching and the business and everything else. And there's never the question of, I never have to ask the question, are you in? They're always asking, what do we have to do to get started? Because they've already, I've had some conversations with them beforehand. They know who I am. They've seen me online. They've had an experience of the programs in some way. They understand what it is I deliver. So then when they meet me, it's more of an opportunity just to confirm everything that they've felt or they believe. And then they just go, right, what does we have to do? And that's when you're talking with the right person, that should be the conversation. So it's not about then asking, going, are you on board? It's answering the question of theirs is, when can we start? Okay. Because I love it. Marcella, I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So that's it. Did we get a code? Yes, Marcella, we did get a code, and the code was TCI 1051. Okay. What will be your practical steps as you are already experienced businessmen so that we can model you? Do these classes. That's why I've put these classes together for you, to give you, they're not the information that you've got in the business mentorship classes and the Wheel of Business. They are designed to give you questions to ask, areas to research, because everything in business is about research. It's about connection with your clients, connection with yourself, and really understanding the numbers within the business, but then understanding that the freer you want, the more structure you want to bring in. Okay, and that's not meant to be a paradox. Okay, because the more you plan your time, the more you can set it down, the clearer you'll be and the more successful you'll be. The people who aren't successful is because there's a fear of failure going on. There could be a fear of success going on, or they have unclear objectives. They don't have their goals. They don't have a vision and their mission. They don't know why they do what they do, other than, I've learned coaching and now I'm going to start a coaching business. Okay, who are you going to coach? How are you going to deliver coaching? What's your pricing structure? And how do you know that's the right price and that is what you're delivering, what your clients want? So you've got to do the research. So you want to understand what you do. And in the early stages of your coaching journey, until you've got around about 150 hours of coaching, it's difficult to understand what your niche is unless you've come into the coaching going, I'm learning coaching so I can do it in this specific area. And there are people who do that. However, there's also a lot of people who go, I want to do coaching and I want to do something different. And then that's okay. However, you've got to go through the process of learning the skill and the art a little bit more, and then that will start to make itself a bit clearer. So like I said, I've rebranded 4 times, and I'm in my fourth, like I said, in my 4th incarnation, because I had more clarity each time as to what I do and for whom I do it. And so part of the practical steps is be free for change. I've never been precious on logos, business cards, websites, all of that. I've thrown out so many business cards, it's ridiculous. I print double-sided now, so I can't even recycle them. So the first time around, I only printed on one side, so that was great. I had little message pads all over the place for ages. Okay, so don't be precious on anything, because if your evolution can give you more clarity and your clients more certainty, well, then that's a good place to be. So thank you. How long do you think that took to get that certainty within yourself? The evolution it changed, because when I started coaching in 2008, as part of the assessment, it was get a website up, get a business going, and getting all of that happening. And that's what I did. And then as I got into it, I moved from a generalist to going, I want to do more than just a generalist. I want to do something different. So then halfway through my assessment, I then rebranded. So then I had to redo my assessment paper. So you think you're doing it tough doing it once. Well, I had to do it twice because I rebranded. And so that journey has been going on it went on for 3.5 years. I rebranded 4 times in 3.5 years. because it was just really intense. So the first 12 months was really all about the studies and just getting the business up and going, getting the assessments done. And so it was just head down and bum up to get all of that. So for me, that was that part of the journey. And then after that, build the business. And then as the business grew, well, then more certainty came through. So the evolution for me in hindsight was around about 3.5 years. Can you have a niche of business coach and have blurred edges into personal coaching? I think they go hand in hand. You can have a niche of business coaching and you can have a niche of personal coaching. However, if you have a niche that has blurred edges, it's not a niche, it's just a blur. Okay, you want to be very specific. You can have as many niches as you want, so long as they are standalone and they are very you understand them and your clients understand them as the thing that you do. So you can have 4 niches. However, when you're talking with the right avatar, you're only talking about one niche. You don't turn up to somebody and go, hey, I've got 4 niches. What do you want to choose? It's like, what have you got, a mobile candy shop? It doesn't work like that. One avatar, one niche. Okay, I do different things and I have different programs that I run. However, I know who I'm talking to. So there are people who I work with who don't know the other things I do because it's not relevant to them. And it would confuse the issue and blur the lines. So when you're speaking with your avatar, you speak about what they need to hear, not getting out the candies and going, oh, look, I've got this, and if you don't like that, I'll have that, and if you don't like that, I can do this. That doesn't make you stronger in the marketplace. It actually weakens your position because you're blurring and diminishing your value. Okay, I have a number of business streams. Would I have a business plan for each stream? Yes. Well, not a business plan. You would have a clearly defined market plan. Your marketing plan would be very segmented in that that's what it does. Your business plan can speak about all that you do, and it would explain how that they would all be standalone, and the marketing plan is how they all work separately and together at the same time. I'm curious about how when you change branding, how do your clients and community we will work with seem to adjust? It's whatever you make it mean. I never made it mean anything other than growth and improvement. And I was really happy for it. So I never had a hiccup with the clients. Some of them didn't even notice because they were just so into what we were doing that was fine. And others went, why did you change? And then when I explained it, they went, oh, cool. So it's really about the meaning you give it that's going to make the difference for your clients. Alrighty, so let's have a look. So niching, we've already been talking about that, which is the way this class goes. It kind of just moves one to the other. So niching is about working with a group of people in terms of how do you define it? It's an inch wide and a mile deep. Okay, it's where you set yourself as the specialist and the expert within the area that you're talking about. It's moving you from, okay money to high-end money because it's about the value that you deliver. In a niche, it's not about exchanging time for money. It's about delivering value for your clients and being able to quantify that value to them in a way that they go, this is why we're here, because of the value that we get. You're not selling 6 sessions. You're selling a solution to their pain and the benefit that they get as a result of working with you. So when you get that proposition articulated, that's what you sell then. You have to understand their pain. You're providing the solution. And by having this solution, the benefit they get is, and you fill in the gap. That's the benefit. And what you sell is the benefit. Kind of fun, isn't it? Alrighty. You're welcome, everybody, for those comments. All right, so I think I've said enough about the niche for the moment. So how to calculate hourly rate. Okay, we do this class, and the same as all webinars, it goes for an hour. I can teach you a formula on how to calculate your hourly rate, and we can have it knocked over in 5 minutes. But how do you know what an hour of your time is worth? What's the value that you bring? Because calculating your hourly rate, it's not a question of, getting the same as if you're working for somebody else. You're building a business. So you've got to be aware of your personal expenses. You've got to be aware of your business expenses. If you haven't done the class and it's coming around, before the class comes around, do your budgets. Okay, get a really clear understanding of what your budget is. What's your personal budget? What is it you, your family, whatever responsibilities you have, does it take to run? What are your business expenses? What does it take to run your business? And if you're going, well, you're setting it up, well, then you should be including your setup costs, your TCI fees, your website, your business card, your brochures if you're doing any, CDs, DVDs, ebooks, whatever it is you're putting your money into has a cost. Are you depreciating that over 12 months, or you're paying it out as a one-off expense? These are the sort of things you want to be recording into an Excel sheet. Set it up, go for it, get an idea of what your expenses are so you know what it costs to run your life and your business. And that's going to give you a good starting point for when we get on the call to determine what your hourly rate is. But you don't charge, the whole thing is you're not charging your hourly rate. You need to know what your break even is, because then when you start looking at the value that you bring as a coach and the transformation that can be made in somebody's life, your hourly rate gets blown out of the water. However, you need to know what your break even is and what your point of no return is. That's as low as you go, but you can go as high as you want. Everybody on the class, when we do it, I get everybody to tell me what their price is, and those of you who have done the class, you would have experienced that, where I ask, what was it, what is your hourly rate? And if you're not working, what do you think your hourly rate will be or would be? And I get everyone to write it up, record it into their notes, and then after I've gone through and chatted about it with everybody, we then go, okay, as a result of the class and understanding the value that you bring, write your new price down and give me a contrast. Do it as what it was at the beginning of the class to what it is now at the end of the class. Everybody on the call increases their price because they have more clarity, more certainty, and a better understanding of the value that they bring. Excuse me. Because that's what it is. It's the value that you can bring to somebody's life and the difference that you can make in their life as a result of coaching. And it makes more sense of the programs that you run. And so it's not just a matter of, oh, well, we do 6 sessions. Why do you do 6 sessions? What are you looking to achieve? What's the benefit for the client? And what's the pain that you're going to solve as a result of being with them over 6 sessions? Remember those KPIs we talked about? They're part of your session that you do. Bring the KPIs in, and now the clients have got something that really makes sense. Alrighty. Just checking for any questions. Yep, oops, okay. Hi, Peter. Hath missed much? Hardly anything, Jody. The call is recorded, so you'll be able to pick it up. But like I said, we're doing an overview of the last 5 sessions, and so we're just answering any questions. I'm doing a wrap-up of what we've spoken about. So if this is your last class, any questions, you've got any clarification you want, well then we can go through and do that as well for you. I did this. Okay, here's some feedback. Oh, I did this class. Brilliant. Thank you, Lyndall. Nice. That class was absolutely gold. From Angela. Genius. Never thought of it that way. Restart up costs and TCI fees. From Anne-Marie. That's brilliant. That's what it is. If you're spending money, you want to get a return on investment. If whatever you're spending with your fees, your startup costs, you want a return on investment. You're running a business. So every dollar in, you want to know how you can get that dollar back. And if you're putting a dollar in, what's that dollar going to do for you, and what is the return that it's going to bring? Is a dollar in going to bring back 5 for you? So the more you understand the numbers, because this is what business is about. It's about the numbers. It's about the clients. It's about delivering value. It's about transforming their lives and giving them the opportunity to invite other people in to be a referrer for you into the business, so then they can see their friends and their colleagues have the same experience. Alrighty, so that's what we've got. Let's keep going on. Okay, so 5 essential mindset strategies. And I was talking with some networking event today and talking with somebody there, and they run a networking event within a networking event. So there's always somebody who's got a niche that is always interesting. So we were chatting away about what goes on, and in terms of business, and both of us deal with a lot of different business people. And it always gets down to relationships and communication. No matter whatever you're doing, whether it's a manufacturer who's got a factory and conveyor belts and all sorts of things, it could be a factory or a warehousing business, it could be a professional services business. Everything gets down to communication. How are your staff communicating? How are you with each other? How are they communicating with their clients? How's the boss communicating with everybody? Because everything gets down to that. Because we can manufacture anything and get it all moving along. That's a given. Anybody can do that. But those who are really successful have great communication lines. Okay, the boss can articulate the vision really well. He can set really clear goals that the staff can respond to. The staff understand the values and the vision and the mission of the business because it's been communicated well, and they really resonate with it, because then they can talk about it, they can discuss it, and really get clear on what they can contribute to make that happen, because they're now part of a community that is excited, is communicating, is able to transfer knowledge and commitment amongst each other. So therefore, all of these things work together, because everything's happening in the mind. You've got to have the right mindset to make these things happen, and it's about having really clear objectives. Said it earlier on, it's having clear objectives. What are your goals? What is it you want to experience in 90 days and in 12 months? How much money do you need to make tomorrow? And you know that because you know how much money you need to make by the close of 12 months. So if you set your budget at, I've got to turn over $100,000 by the end of the year, going, that's great. Now, you don't necessarily need to get overwhelmed by that, because you don't need to make 100,000 today or 100,000 tomorrow. But you want to make the steps that move you towards making that. So how much do you need to earn tomorrow? Might only be $1,000. Might be 500. Could be $1. Because it's what that dollar can do for you, and how are you going to use that dollar to move it along even more. So you have your strategic plans written out, and yet so it's the strategies and tactics that you want to employ that are going to get the results that you're after. Interesting. All right, so it's about your actions, results, beliefs, and thoughts, and it keeps going on and around and around. Okay, so I'm not getting any questions, so I assume that I'm explaining that really clearly and doing a brilliant job, because that's all it can ever mean. Okay, are your fees set same for all, Peter, or do you vary depending on client in some sense? No, okay, thanks for that, Trish. That's a good question, because you can be all over the shop. So no, I have 3 programs that I take clients through. One is as a startup, if they're a startup business, and the other one is a growth program, and that's about growing your business. And then the other one is a program for working with clients. I call it Velocity, and that's taking them through setting themselves into a practice as opposed to a business. And a practice is where the business is built around the name and the personality of the person. They're a speaker, they've written a book or writing a book. You've seen it where the business is the person's name or it's about their personality. So that's building a practice. So the programs are either startup or growth, and it's working with clients within that. So the pricing is it's the same. And then I have a couple of other programs that stand alone, and if they need those standalones, that's where the price varies. But it's much easier if you can have continuity, because it makes it easier for clients to get it without you having to sit there and explain it. So the simpler you can make it, the easier it is for the client to be able to measure what it is you do against other people and against themselves as to what they want to achieve. Alrighty, okay, so lots of people agreeing that I'm doing a wonderful job, so thank you. I'll take that. Alrighty, so let's have a look at it. This is almost an overview of everything I've been talking about tonight, and this is this saying is attributed to Winston Churchill. However, it goes back a fair bit to Ben Franklin and all over. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. This is, I said it earlier, it's kind of like the paradox. The freer you want to be in business, the more structured you want to be in what you do in a day. Okay, what is it you do between 8 and 9 on Monday? What is it you're going to do between 9 and 10? and 11 and 12. Because the more structure you bring in terms of sitting down and having your to-do list and really ticking off things to make sure that you know what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it, you allocate the time to do that. What that opportunity gives you is the moment to be completely present with what you're doing, because you know that you've planned it all, and then between 9 and 10 you're doing your marketing plan, for instance. So everything that's not marketing, there's no need for it to be part of your mind or your thoughts, because you're ticking it, because you know that you'll get them done later because they're part of your schedule. However, between 9 and 10, it's all about the marketing plan. So you can become completely present, totally congruent, and just completely focused on that, knowing that that's what you have to do. And come 10 o'clock, you stop thinking about the marketing because you're going to step into the other thing you're going to do. So it provides you the opportunity to be completely focused and present. And this is about your goal setting. You want to know your numbers. You want to know where you're going and why you're going there and not somewhere else. And then when you've got your numbers together, you know that, okay, to get those numbers happening, there's so many clients you want to have, and are those clients in webinars, seminars, one-to-one, how you want to experience those clients, what is it you want to be doing. So it's all about getting the plan together. And then the plan is also, do you work from home? Do you work in an office? Do you work with a team? What does you want to do and how do you want to do it? Nice questions to be asking yourself, because it really keeps you on your toes. Alrighty, so let's have a look at it. I've just got to check my notes to make sure that I've got everything covered as I'm rabbiting on with you guys. Alrighty, so let's get into it. Where are we? Okay, I'm good and you're good. Okay, so questions. Thank you, well explained. I love this, it makes us extremely effective. Yep, brilliant. Okay, let me make sure I've got it. Oh, look at that. All right, okay, we are there. Okay, so I want to backtrack for a minute with you. So here, with your 5 essential mindset strategies, are you happy? Is it okay if I just backtrack on a couple of things? Liz is asking, have I written a book on this? It's in the makings. I've got 2 books on the go at the moment. I've got one on time management and I've got one on all these programs I've been putting together. So yes, so my goal is to have one of those books out at the end of the year and the other one out at the beginning of the year. So, yep, thank you for asking. And that's the practice part of the business that we're looking at and bringing all of that together. All right. I do this all day, every day at work, setting KPIs, but hesitate up until now for my business. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting? So, more reason to do it now. And look, I'll let you in on this little secret just between you and me and everybody who's on the call. Okay? I've worked with a lot of coaches, and those who I've worked with who are doing their startup business, they've come through and they've gone, I've been in this environment, I've been doing this sort of work, and now I want to have a business. And they move away from their networks, they move away from the areas that they've had as an influence, and they're going, right, I want to set up a coaching business. And then what happens is that I've seen it enough times now to see the pattern that they then turn that in about 12 months. They then come back and go, I'm so frustrated. I'm going to start marketing to the networks and the groups that I've got, because they realize that the importance of everything that they've done in their life prior. Okay, so the networks you've got, the places that you've been, embrace what you've got and really investigate and go, is there an opportunity within your networks, within your areas of influence, that you can take coaching and make a difference there? Save yourself 12 months and step into it and become the expert in the area that you work in. And I'm saying that off the back of what Anne-Marie's comments were, in that I do this all day, setting up the KPIs, and she does it at work, and then hesitated up until now for doing it for her business. And I'm glad you said up until now, Anne-Marie. That's awesome. To get that clarity and to have that awareness now and go, this is it. You use your skills. You use what it is you've been learning and working with that's made you really good at what you do now, and bring it into your coaching and bring it into your business, because it will transform what goes on. Okay, that's my tip for the night for you on that one. Yes, straightforward out. These are some comments coming through now. Your straightforward outline of being super clear on a schedule allows me to be more aware of why my business has been only slowly progressing. All good. Brilliant. Good insight. Okay, madness. Always work your network. Yes, exactly it. And that's it. And we go, oh, they might want to hear it. That's your mind read, because they've either got a fear of success or a fear of failure. What if they wanted what you had? What if they wanted to support you? What if they wanted to be a part of the journey with you and go, we're really excited for you. We're really pleased that we can support you, be a part of it, be part of your cheer squad. We might necessarily need your services straight away. However, they will have people that they could refer you to because they've got relationship with you. Just saying. Okay, another comment. I've been through about 10 batches of business cards and thrown a lot out. Love it, Nasilla. I'm about to rebrand after splitting into 2 separate businesses. Thanks for the encouragement. My pleasure. And that's the clarity that we get. And Nasilla's example there is not uncommon, as from what I've told you, and there are other people who have done it. The more clarity, the more certainty you can bring into the marketplace in what you do, the easier it is for your clients to get you. And when they get you, they really get you. So why wouldn't you want to step into that? All right. I'm in the business of finishing up. Where things take longer than expected, I end up with snowballs. Things fall behind. Any tips on how to deal with snowballs as a sole trader? Okay, in the business I'm finishing up in, where things take longer than expected, I end up with snowballs. Part of that I would refer that back to my comments about planning and doing your to-do list, because let me have a look at is it in here? One of the notes that we were looking at, or maybe it's in one of the other ones. So in terms of your planning and getting really clear on what you do, it's having your to-do list and having really clear objectives. So if things are snowballing, well, my question is, what's the planning that's been going on, and what are the expectations that you've put around the timetables that you've set? Have they been clear, and have they been measured correctly, and are you measuring as you're going along? Because if you've got within the structure of the business and the processes you're operating in an opportunity to measure or to set KPIs, and then to measure them and then to respond to them, there shouldn't be any surprises. Within the business, you should be doing your numbers each week. What's gone on in the last week that you can measure, and what is it that you can make changes around, and how is it the business can grow as a result of all of that. So it's really getting clear on all of those aspects of the business. So you've got to break it down. You've got to systemize it, break it down, because everything within business is about systems and procedures. We've talked about planning. We've talked about goal setting. It's having systems. Now, if you've been on my calls before, you would have heard me rave about the book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Okay, if you haven't heard me rave about it, insert rave here, because time's slipping away now and I won't have time. But that is if there was only one book that you ever read about business, it has to be The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It's on the recommended reading list for TCI, and it's about how to set up systems within the business. Because when you're doing the business, you've got a lot going on. So the more you can systemize and then hand over to somebody else, the better it is. Because then the more systems you can bring in, well, then you can hand it over to a VA, and the VA can do the things for you, or a PA, or a staff member, or your 7-year-old. Because ultimately, when you're doing your systems and procedures, you want them written and designed in such a way that a 7-year-old can do what you're doing, apart from the professional aspect of coaching. But if there's printing to be done, if there's tasks that have to be done that support the business, well, then somebody else should be able to do it. And if they can't do it, well, then why? Why are you holding on to it? Do you have a need for significance? Is there secondary gain that you're looking to achieve? Do you feel that the busier you are, the more important you are? Okay, am I stepping on your toes yet? Because it's not about, business isn't about any of those sorts of things. Okay? So it's really getting clear on what you do. So I hope that's helped, Trish. If not, let me know and I'll talk a little bit more about it. How do I learn to really embrace a love of systems? Reframe it. Get some coaching on it because they are your friends, okay? It's why are you resisting it? It's not about how to embrace it. The question is, why are you resisting it? Okay? Go and get some coaching on that. If you're still in triads or you've got people around that you can have a chat with, find out why you resist it. What do you make it mean that you put it aside and resist? Because I'm a little hippie child. I love my freedom. I love to wander, which is why I chose coaching. I love that whole thing about being free. But when I had my business in Canberra, I was a landscaper, and I'm going, work for myself. Crap. I had 50 to 60 contracts. Every contract had 3 bosses on it. It had the director of engineering, it had the accounts person, and it had the maintenance man. And I was responsible to all 3 of them. So if I had 50 contracts, I had 150 bosses. How does that make sense? Be your own boss. Do things your own way. I was accountable to everybody every minute of every day, and I was accountable to so many people. It's ridiculous. But it was mine. And that's what made the difference. I served them, and I built a really great business and was able to sell it really well. And this is what business is about. But I could only do that because I embraced Michael Gerber and the love and systemizing back in the when I do that, early 90s. I've done everything I've done, not-for-profit organisations that I've run, businesses that I've run, have all been run according to the E-Myth, which is all about systemizing. It's moving from a technician and a manager mode where I've got to do everything to how can I make myself redundant within this work? What is it I need to do that I can give to somebody else so then I never have to do it again? And it makes you a quality person. Okay, so get the coaching around what is it that you're avoiding, and then that's a whole different thing. Somebody agreeing with me that Michael Gerber's book is brilliant. Somebody's just bought it today. Well done, Jodie and Anne-Marie. I have a 7 o'clock webinar, so we've got 3 minutes. I'll be really quick. Loved it. Hallelujah. I'm involved in a few joint ventures at the moment. Do you have any tips before we move deeper into these ventures as 2 separate businesses? Yes, let me just wait for a minute. Just want to say the reason I haven't asked any questions is because of how clear and thorough you have been. I'm really enjoying the class. Love it, Marcus. Thank you very much. Alrighty, nightmare. I need to do that at home. Okay. All right, so let's have a look. Where is that question again? Demethiu, I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Sorry if I'm not. I'm involved in a few joint ventures. I'll give you the code in a minute. Joint ventures at the moment. Do you have any tips before we move deeper into these ventures as 2 separate businesses? You want to have good, tight legal agreements that clearly state the objectives and the vision and the goals of each business. You want your position and your time marked, and you want to know how the assets are going to be divided and how the ownership is going to be done. You need to make sure that you've got a good accountant who's advising you. You've got a legal person, a lawyer, or somebody who is writing up the documents for you. And no matter how close your friendship, you want it documented and you want it signed off as a legal agreement that everybody is happy with. If people aren't willing to sign on the dotted line, well, then you don't want to do business with them. Okay, so you need to get accounting advice. You want to get legal advice. This isn't the place for me to give that information, other than you need to get that documented, and you want to have clear objectives in terms of the work you're doing. Now, before I continue on, the code is 1986 for those who need to nick off to another webinar. TCI 1986. Alrighty, I'll keep talking for a little bit longer. I just want to get the code out for those who have been attentive and on the call. So TCI 1986. All right, so the joint ventures are great. It's really getting clear, or it gives you the opportunity to work in a mastermind capacity in that you're working with other people. The inspiration that you can get from working in a group is really good. The example I gave you at the beginning of the call with that company with the 3 directors, they've been working together for 16 years. Husband and wife and best friend. Okay, they're really clear on what they do, what they don't do. All their roles are very clear within the business, and there's no overlap. Two of the people don't do the same job. They all have very clearly defined roles within the business, and the expectations within the business are very clearly defined. So then it's easier for each one to work and to achieve what they have to do because they know what their responsibilities are. So long as you've got good legal advice and good financial advice, well, then you should be fine, so long as you're clear on the objectives personally of what it is you want to get. Alrighty, so we're going to wrap that up and get into it. TCI 1986. 1986. Jody, you did miss the first code. Where were you at the beginning of the call? I gave it out. Were you late? Alrighty, so TCI 16. So that was the first code. That was the second code. TCI 1986 is the second code. The first code was TCI 1051. Alrighty, so thank you everybody for participating. Congratulations for everyone who has reached the milestone of kicking this off. Make sure you go and celebrate. Kick your heels up, eat some chocolate, drink a glass of red, do whatever it is you got to do. Stand up and do a little jig. You have passed another part of your assessment, which is awesome. Congratulations. And we're going to chat again in a fortnight. So I look forward to connecting with you all again. A free it series. I don't know what that means. Thank you, Peter. Great. I'm sure it must be a great series. Typos. All right. Thank you very much, Nicole, Cornelia, Jody, Anne-Marie, Demethiu. Thank you very much. Katie Jean, thank you. Trish, thank you everybody for being a part of tonight. We're going to wrap it up, and I look forward to connecting with you all again very soon. So have an awesome night and a great weekend. Thank you, everybody.